Hello, guys. Infinite love and gratitude to you all. My name is Sabina Powell, and I am your amazing intuitive life and business coach practitioner at the Intuition Institute. At the Intuition Wisdom Institute. I don't know what I said. Okay, so yes, today's limited belief that we are going to be clearing today is there's no outcome. And this is through, oh man, this limited belief reminded me so much of Neo from The Matrix that I personally experienced for 7 days, and I'm gonna tell you how I shifted. So, as I'm doing my truthful travels, traveling around the world, right? On my healing journey, clearing limited beliefs within myself and helping others to connect with their true self. Basically, I experienced this no outcome came from the ego mind, of course, right? But I was on my travels. Let me just tell you a little story how it came up. So this no outcome, there is no outcome. Basically, whatever you do, there's no outcome. You could pray, you could write, you could, apply for jobs and don't get hired. You could apply for businesses and don't get hired. There's no outcome. Which keeps you in this loop and keep in this just this continuous cycle of madness, right? So what I get from this is through personal experience, was definitely a lesson learned. And this lesson was basically, it was connected with unforgiveness. And I was like taken back by the whole scenario. Like, how's this connected with unforgiveness? Me almost being stranded for 7 days, stuck, not stranded, but stuck at the airport basically for 7 days. So what ended up happening is basically this no outcome. It played out in the physical. So let me explain to you. Amongst my travels, I was traveling in Southeast Asia. I was in Bangkok. I stayed there for several months, and I was ready to move around with the help and guidance of my true self. And the next place I was going was Tokyo, Japan. That was where I was led to go. And what ended up happening is I booked my ticket. I was good to go. And when it came down to it, it was like literally, I was so tired. It was at night, I believe. I waited for like several hours, got to the airport, waited for several hours, and I booked the ticket. And my flight wasn't until, I think, like midnight. It was like almost a red eye flight. So I booked the ticket, didn't think nothing of it. And when I get to uh, the customer service rep, she says she can't find my ticket. And I was like, I showed her a receipt. I was like, here's my ticket here. And she's saying it's not in the system. So of course, I have waited several hours at the airport. I'm tired and I'm ready to go to sleep, because all I could think about was getting on the flight and like go to sleep until I get to my next destination. So that didn't end up happening. So now I'm agitated. I had to clear the anger, frustration, irritation, all that comes with when you get a canceled flight at 11 p.m. at night. So I was definitely not a happy girl at that time, right? And so basically, what ended up happening is I had to get my refund back because somehow the system didn't pick it up, and whatever the case may be. So I had to wait, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So I'm like, okay, whatever flows. Let me just take it easy. I was like, where can I go? I have nowhere to go. Just be here, right? And I was like, okay. So I sat, and in the midst of all this, I'm just clearing all of this, and I was just taken back. My true self was taking me back to the Matrix when Neo was stuck in the airport. And if you remember in the movie, it was like in the subway, it was like limbo, Limbo, or something to that effect. So every time he tried to leave the train station, he was back at square one. Every time he tried to do anything, he was back at square one. And I was like, oh no. And this is how I was seeing myself in the Bangkok airport. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I know what I could do. I know how I could, shift my realities, clear this ego, clear this non-truth, and move forward. And I was like, okay. So I began to clear. And I was like, okay, what is going on? This is craziness. And not, if it seemed like nothing was working, but it was working. But what ended up happening was basically, I was able to clear. It took me 7 days, and in that 7 days, I was still helping clients. Still doing my thing, and I was like eating international Krispy Kreme donuts. That was keeping me happy, and coffee and whatever they had at some Thai food I was experimenting with that tasted delicious at the Bangkok airport. And I was like, okay, cool. And so what ended up happening is basically I was able to, for a time, and this what ended, not only that, I was able to clear the limited belief of no outcome. That's what came out, no outcome. So whatever I was doing, it was no outcome. And I was like, oh, ego, this is not true. This is definitely a lie, because it was trying to have me feel like every time I cleared, it wasn't working. I don't believe in myself, this and that and the other. I should believe what other people believe in. I should believe this way. I should believe that way. I got it all confused. The other people are right. I'm wrong. And I was like, no. I see what's going on. So it took me back to when the Indian guy in the Matrix movie told Neo, you got to go see him. And he's like, see who? He's like, I forgot the name of the guy in the movie. He was like, he doesn't forgive. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, as I'm viewing this, I'm asking yourself, what do you mean I don't forgive? And it's like, okay, so literally I had to like go deeper, keep clearing. And lo and behold, was I experienced all type, millions of people go through airports, and I was feeling millions of people egos and all this stuff, and I was like, oh God, I gotta get out this airport. Oh man. So yeah, that was definitely a lesson learned in reference to that, but it was also teaching me self-love within myself, and forgiving myself, and forgiving the past. So what this unforgiveness was, it was connected to me not forgiving the past. And I was like, oh, what am I not forgiving? And we have exercises for forgiveness and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, got it. And so literally I'm like doing my forgiveness exercise routine, and this is how aggravated I was, and this is how True Self works it out. I could have called people, and but I wanted to, like, literally, I was trusting myself, and I was trusting my faith and my true self to work it out. I didn't want to, like, call this person and do that person. I wanted to make sure I'm standing in my truth. So what ended up happening, someone called me, and then it just definitely like worked out. I was like in that mode, like I was like truly stubborn, like, no, I'm standing my truth. You could do what you want, ego, but I'm not budging. I'm not budging with the ego mind. So it ended up happening. Lo and behold, I had a family member through marriage that was in Thailand. I was like, out of all places,